twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
General Westmoreland instituted a program of winning the hearts and minds of the people. And if there wasn't little children in here, I'll tell you what the Greenport version was. But that's what we did. We trained local people in the villages to fight the Viet Cong. We were a small unit, and that's what I did until I came back.
Did you live with them or around in the villages?
Lived in villages and hamlets, and I still speak some Vietnamese, but it's rusty. It's hard to speak Vietnamese with a Kunas accent.
Yeah.
Retired college professors, county agents, older people who went over and helped advise on the rebuilding. And they needed a livestock specialist, and I was in the veterinary corps in Japan. And the Far East veterinarian called me in and asked if I wanted to go to Korea. My immediate response was, what? But the deciding factor for me was the fact that when I went overseas, I had just become engaged with a sweet lady. And I was to spend the rest of my tour overseas. And he explained to me that if I'd go to Korea for this assignment, I could come back stateside a year earlier. So I couldn't get on the plane quick enough to go to Korea.
I was the only female of 30 guys training for this, and we took third place with her field. And so it was different. That sometimes veterans, we do get forgotten. But this right here is just an honor to be able to serve our nation and our country and honor all the things. And just this represents just not myself, but my dad. He's deceased. Yesterday was his anniversary of 11 years. But I just think it's an honor to be able to walk through a legacy of men in my life that have served and just surrounded by y'all today. I just want to say thank you.
Whenever you see these guys over here and these guys over here, you see the best of then the young men in the United States that have got not so young anymore, but we still love the United States just as much as we did then. About the Vietnam troops and how they were treated when they was coming home, it was pretty bad. Some of us guys got spit on getting on the aircraft, and myself, I had some stewardess that saved me, that put me in the back of the aircraft, so I wouldn't have to be pounded down on by other not so loving people. And I know Lynn was the same way. There was a lot of guys that came from Vietnam that was the same way. But it was people in Korea that came home that wasn't recognized like they should have been. And the boys from Desert Storm, and it's hard on those guys coming home. It's hard on them to get adjusted when they get here. And when you see one of them that's been through a lot of stuff, you need need to thank him for his service. I know that young men in Afghanistan now, the Taliban and the ICUDs and the CUDIs and whoever they are, they have thought up 1,000 ways to kill an American troop. And these troops from this era, they come home and when they get hurt over there, they get blasted to pieces. They get blown up in their trucks, Sarge, and they get their legs blown off and their arms blown off. And I know in Vietnam it was a lot of guys that got hurt with booby traps and all that kind of stuff. But these guys they just get the wheels blown out from under them. Would especially like to thank those guys for doing their service. And I'd like you, Miss Val, whenever you go to vote, I'm not going to tell you how to vote too much, but you do need to think about people that care about the veterans when you pull that lever, and you do need to think about people that care about your Second Amendment rights. Because if you don't care about your Second Amendment rights, you're not going to have this freedom in this United States, because anybody that's going to walk into a country that's got everybody's got a gun under the pillow is not too smart. So, but some of these raving idiots we got around here want to take our guns away from us.
You know, we've recognized veterans, and there's somebody we're leaving out. Wives, kids, mothers, fathers, sweetheart. I spent 13 years in the Navy. My hero was my wife.
Ms. Hart?
So even young people that are in now that aren't married, they still have families. And it's tough on them, it really is, because you never know. You don't know what happens when men go in harm's way. You don't know if you're coming back. And it can be on a ship, aircraft, or whatever. It's just the nature of the beast. So we need to think about relatives and loved ones for the veterans too.